always wanted to make money, whether that's working for someone else or working for myself. I'd resold Yeezys back in the day. I did a lot of gambling. It was like
when you were at uni?
£5 a month. Like, I mean, it was.
You had £5 a month profit as a uni student.
It was like £1 profit a day.
So everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today we're here with Harry. He's another Amazon seller. He's here to tell us all about his Amazon journey, how he started, how much he's making and all stuff like that. And I think we'll kick this off, Harry. Give us a bit about yourself. How old are you? Where do you live? And what do you do at the moment?
So I'm 21. I live near Oxford. Full-time Amazon seller at the moment. Finished uni a couple of months ago, but I've been doing it for about 10, 11 months-ish.
Yeah.
But 6 figures now. Hopefully by the end of the year we'll hit 7. Yeah.
Love to hear it.
I think we'll touch on those figures in a bit, but let's take it back to uni. What was you studying? Was it uni you was that, sorry?
Yeah.
What was you studying?
But I was at Birmingham. I did biology. Something completely unrelated.
Mad.
But yeah, I kind of like everyone else, just go to uni and get a degree and hopefully come out with a job.
Yeah.
But thankfully I've fallen into this and it's what I do full time.
So before you started uni and stuff like that, or while you was in uni, did you ever have like an entrepreneurial mindset where you was thinking like, I want to, in like even just like the fact that you wanted to work for yourself or anything like that, or did it really just like fall on your lap kind of thing?
I've kind of always wanted to. I've always wanted to make money, whether that's working for someone else or just working for myself.
Yeah.
I resold Yeezys back in the day. I did a lot of. I had a mate at uni as well. He did gambling, and he had a lot of insider info.
Like match betting or like genuine roulette?
It was horse racing and football really.
Yeah.
And the greyhounds.
And greyhounds. But it was all kind of just like insider kind of thing. I made a fair bit off that, and just it kind of sustained me while I was at uni. And eventually that money bought me a car that when I eventually sold it, funded the majority of my Amazon.
That's pretty insane to be fair though, but I just wanted to quickly take it back to the gambling thing. I know this is what this isn't about, but that's a pretty insane story. And to be fair, you're the first person I've heard who's actually like made money like insider info off gambling. So can you speak about like how it went down and stuff like that?
Some black market.
Yeah,
you can.
Yeah, so go on, tell us a bit how it happened, how did you get into that, and what was the kind of insider info that you was getting and stuff like that?
So it was so my mate, he was mates with someone else at uni. He was mates with someone who trained these greyhounds at this one particular track. It
won't be named.
It won't be named.
You were telling me this.
Yeah, this is the same
I
story.
Yeah.
But he fed to his mate and then to his mate. Then eventually came to my mate, and we were putting hundreds on each dog really, and the returns were just ridiculous.
This was in COVID, wasn't it?
During COVID, yeah.
We used to both go on Discord with all our other mates, and they'd be like, they'd be at random times. It'd be like 7:47, 8:20, and we'd all go on Discord like just before the race because they'd be gone in like 40 seconds, run round, and we'd have like hundreds of pounds on there. Is that only COVID entertainment?
That's
quite funny.
So what was like the success rate on that? Was it literally like 100% every time, or was it like?
It wasn't 100
It was
to be
probably
fair,
like
but it was quite high.
80%, I reckon, because they were so rigged.
How do you know it's going to win then?
I'm not. Yeah. Okay. Basically, the owners used to kind of feed them up, get them like really heavy, get them into so they'd like run really slow in that one race. And then eventually they'd be dropped down classes.
Yeah.
And then while they're in that really low class, they'd make sure that they were lean, like they were so light, and they were just like
Just
clear
one dog. That was
just the one dog, and the rest were like.
Overweight
What a
and
terrible
had
system.
loads of food in them.
Yeah, that's insane. I can't believe they even like allow that. That's like, surely they'd be
They
like,
don't.
Well, I know, but how does it even happen though? Because obviously they can tell that the dog's not lean. Like, surely they can be like, well, this dog's fat as fuck.
It's like a heavyweight going
And
down
then-
to like a featherweight and just banging
then-
everyone.
They
Well,
might have known that probably most of the people there were
Yeah.
on it, to be fair, weren't they? But
Couple of backhanders and stuff. That's pretty insane to be fair though. Well,
That's
I guess that
funny.
kind of like kickstarted. Was that like the first thing that you did that kind of like kickstarted money making, obviously besides reselling and stuff like that?
Pretty much, I think it was just the ease of just spending like £100 on a bet and
It's
just
almost guaranteed, isn't it?
yeah, like the money's just coming back out. It was loads of money that you wouldn't be able to get from a job, and I guess that's kind of carried over to reselling wholesale stuff on Amazon.
We did like $2,000 in a week profit once off it, didn't we?
Some of
Like
it
in the
was
height of
ridiculous.
COVID.
That's
'Cause
insane.
and the bookies weren't even like, they didn't know what was going on because obviously there were so many people betting in COVID.
Yeah.
Just like, what else
I can
are you gonna
imagine
be doing?
absolutely skyrocketed.
And we were just I remember one race we had like 500 quid on like a couple of dogs, but it'd be like 3 races in a
Yeah.
night. She'd have like $1.5 grand spread out through the night, and you were so gassed.
That's insane.
Do you
That's
remember like
absolutely
your biggest
crazy.
win?
I think it was probably it was on horses, I reckon. It was like 3K in like 2 days. It was something ridiculous. There were like 50 to 1 horses. And
They were all in it. It was American. It was America, wasn't it? Yeah. American horse races.
For some reason, it was just like it's like it wasn't like we're already here where you got the hurdles. It's kind of shorter distance, so it was a lot more predictable. But it was like one day I made like 1.5K from a couple of horses, and then like the day after, it just one horse. It was just ridiculous.
That is funny.
So was that information that you was like sure? Was that like in research you was doing and stuff like that, or was it again like insider info? Someone just being like,
It was a bit of both, really.
Yeah.
Other people's research. I
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
But yeah, I kind of got into it myself and just did a bit of research around the horses and stuff. But yeah, I made my money and left it.
yeah. So go on, carry on with. So carry on from there. So you're obviously doing this. You made this money in from gambling and stuff like that. Pretty insane to be fair.
I wouldn't advise starting
No,
out like that.
definitely. I'm
Not
majorly
was
against
it?
gambling and stuff like that. But so go on from there. So you buy your car and stuff like that. When did you first start Amazon?
Wait, before that, how did you actually meet Jake?
Oh yeah.
Because you two actually obviously know each other, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I've known Jake since we were at Scouts. It was so young.
Yeah, that's when we first met, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In Scouts. Yeah. God,
But yeah.
how old would we have been?
God knows.
Young.
Too young. But yeah, we became mates at secondary school and kind of just hit up from there. And
Yeah, I've always been in the same sort of friendship group, and then I remember I was going to Birmingham Uni, but no one else was really, were they? And you were meant to be going to, what was it, one in Wales, wasn't it?
yeah, Bangor in North Wales.
And then you called me and were like, oh, I'm coming to Birmingham. I was like, perfect, my only friend. Great. And then I suppose we got closer in uni, to be fair, and just always talking. And then I started Amazon before you, didn't I? And then you just saw what I was doing and got involved from there. Yeah.
Our first major business success here at Side Hustle was an information/education platform that we started. It was designed to teach everyday people who have never resold before exactly how to resell anything from limited edition collectible items to the hottest sneakers releasing that week for a profit. We tell you about any upcoming releases, exactly when they're dropping, how much you can buy them for, and how much you can sell them for. This is all done from our Crep Chief Notify iOS and Android app that is available on the Google Play Store and the App Store. You will receive push notifications on restocks, new buys, and much, much more. You can find the link to download our app in the description below.
So you got your car.
Yeah.
Sorry, back to Marlon, what
Yeah.
you were saying.
Yeah, so you got your car and stuff like that. So what was your first initial investment into Amazon and stuff like that? Obviously you were seeing Jake and seeing what he was doing and imagine you were witnessing it. It's a bit like me with Will and stuff like that. I seen him obviously reselling and I was like, well, I'm getting in on this. Like, why would I not? It's a bit of a no-brainer at that point. So talk us through a bit how it all started for you. Was Jake giving you a significant helping hand in the start, or how did it go
an
down
initial
for you?
moment that sprung you? Was just like, wow, I'm going to do this. Did you make like a big load of money? You just
Yeah, I mean, I was seeing Jake and I was seeing what he was doing. I was just thinking like, why can't I? Where's my piece of the pie kind of thing? So I thought I'd give it a go. I was like learning from like online courses and like those kind of YouTube videos. Eventually, like kind of told Jake what I was doing, and he took me under his wing really.
Yeah, pretty much.
He let me like order my stock to his unit. We shared that unit for a bit. Eventually got my own smaller one, so we had 2 units of that at one place.
We used to fill up Safe Store, didn't we?
It's ridiculous.
I'd get calls saying, because a lot of your stuff, you never really ordered stuff that come on pallets.
Yeah.
It would be like 40 just boxes. I'd get calls. I'd be like wherever at home working or something. And they're like, you've just had a delivery of like 45 boxes. They're just all over reception. Like, brilliant. How did you come get them? No, I'm in Oxford. Great.
Yes.
Cheers.
Can you remember the first thing that you ordered?
I think it was these. They were like little salt, vinegar, and pepper pots. absolute pain in the arse. They came in the boxes like separately.
Yeah.
I was picking one out, and then I'd get it wrong, and I have to like unwrap all of them.
Oh,
they
man.
were all glass, weren't they?
They're all
So,
like the same, pretty much the same shape.
Put bubble wrap over every single one of them.
And then bag
And
them.
I was there doing some of my stuff because we would be like just working in there at the same time. It's just easier, isn't it? Then I'd be like to you, should we put a vinegar pot in that one, mate? Right. Starts playing on his head. He starts opening like loads of them up to see if you did.
I can imagine that's a bit of an issue when you first start doing it and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
you're getting
Yeah,
like
the
paranoid
packaging.
about stuff. You know, if that happens, what happens? Does Amazon go through everything for you, or
Nah, they
actually
don't
spoke about this
open.
last time, didn't we?
They don't open stuff up because then they'd just be redoing the same job you
Yeah.
did. I suppose if something ever happened, it would go to the customer. They'd realise that there was no salt pot in there, and it would just get sent back, and it would just get put in your disposable inventory. Then you can dispose it at Amazon or get it sent back to you. Put the salt pot with it and send it back off again. But if you're careful with it, it very rarely happens. But I remember at the start, you were like, because obviously you just want to get through it fast. Like it doesn't really matter as long as it's protected. It doesn't need to be like all angled correctly. But you were taking it like a fine art. It was like 5 minutes to pack one of them. I was mad. I was like, mate, it doesn't matter as long as they look great. Just wrap them up quick onto the next one. You got like 400 to do. You were there all day, weren't you? I left you.
Like 7-8 hours. I had uni work to do as well. I finished at the uni and I was in the library till like 12.
Yeah, I remember that day.
that's a big shift then? Love to see it. So with these like salt and gloss shakers, what was like the margins and stuff like that on that? Did you make a profit on your first item?
It was all right for the money. I think my first order was like £800 ish, close to 800.
Yeah.
I think it returned like 300. But I mean, at that
Not
time,
bad ROI.
it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
And like thinking, it was my only product, but I was just thinking like, okay, let's get 10, let's get 20.
Yeah.
It just adds up, and then eventually that's a really, really good salary, and all I need to do is put stuff in a bag and
At one
Pretty
point,
consistent.
all the other sellers come off though, didn't they? And you increased the price by like a couple of pounds. You were making silly money on them at
Yeah.
one point, and they started selling really, really well because nowhere else could get the stock, could they? You were getting them direct.
So,
to the brand.
do you think that's a common issue? Because we've obviously talked a lot about the supply and demand and stuff of like products and stuff like that. How often do you actually see that happening where like products, where the supply, like nobody else can get stock, all the sellers leave off and stuff like that? How often does that actually happen?
Completely depends. Like sometimes it's not because of stock. Sometimes just people just stop selling items and will move on to other ones. Say you've got 2 items and you find a more profitable one that needs more cash, you would just stop selling the other one. So you constantly have, different amounts of sellers on the same product. Sometimes it can be, due to the amount of stock that a brand or supplier has in. Which I think it was in that case. It just happened to be you'd done your research because I'd shown you how to do it and make sure that you were getting the absolute cheapest price. And obviously, if you're getting it direct from, the people who sell then to the wholesalers, which other people are buying from, you're going to have, more dibs on stock, really, aren't you? If you're just going to take everything from them. And I think that's why at that point the wholesalers weren't really getting stock and you were just lapping it up, weren't you?
capitalising on it, yeah.
It's pretty insane, to be fair, though. So with this salt and pepper shaker, was it like a branded product, or was it like, what was the actual situation there? Because obviously we spoke about like private label and stuff like that before. Was this just like a random product that just somebody created and got like really high up? Do you know anything about that or what it was? Or
It's quite a big brand.
Yeah.
You'd have heard
It's
of
like a
it.
glassware brand,
Yeah.
So it was like an established listing
Yeah.
already, wasn't it?
So I was just able to go to the company directly.
Yeah.
And they gave me a price, and I eventually, as I bought more and more, they gave me like discounts and that kind of thing.
Building a relationship, isn't it? Really?
Was you worried your first time when you placed that order for them?
I was. It was like the most I spent on like that kind of thing. It was terrifying.
I can
You
imagine.
shit yourself at the start.
Oh
didn't
my
you?
god! I
So
spent
funny.
£800 on little bits of glass. Like, what am I going to do with them now?
I think it's funny because like I was quite a bit ahead of you. Like I'd been doing it for longer, so like that was quite normal for me. And seeing you like, sure, mate, are you sure I should buy it? It's like, yes, just
Yes,
buy
spend
it.
£800 on
It
salt and
makes
pepper
money.
shakers.
that's crazy though, but that's why it's so good to obviously like be taught and have like a teacher and stuff like that,
Definitely, yeah.
because they can reassure you, they can give you like their honest opinion and stuff like that about how to like whether it's actually a good product and stuff like that. And something we spoke about before, in your situation you're not going to be like, oh yeah, this is a good product if you actually don't think it's a good product. At the end of the day,
Exactly, yeah.
you've got your best interest of Harry over here and being like, it's a good product, like to having someone to trust like that, where you can ask products about,
Yeah.
like ask product information about, is such an essential thing. And I think for anybody, you know, wants anything like that, it's definitely well worth investing in something where you can get that kind of advice just at the start and stuff like that.
And if you invest in that sort of thing, like it's all right getting courses and things like that, but most your questions, a course is pretty self-explanatory. It just tells you what you need to know. There's not many questions that come of that. It's when you use all that course information and start actually going out buying products. That's when you add most questions. And the same when I had most questions. And I suppose that's why it was helpful.
I can imagine it after these courses, like when you then go into place your first order, it's a lot about like self-doubt.
Still got new
like,
questions.
You still got to question yourself like 10 times. Like,
you
is this the right order?
Is
Is
to
it
be
right?
checked, you know, by someone who's done it before and knows what they're doing and does it.
And
every
if there
single
was
day.
just someone there for you to check, like literally it takes them 10 seconds and they've already done it. Like, it's just, you can't 100% rely on that. Like, they're not going to guarantee you that it's 100% going to sell.
No.
At the end of the day, they can't guarantee
they
that.
Can
but
give you a better
a
idea
very good idea of someone else that's been in exactly your shoes before is just perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
So going on from there, so you know, you get your salt and pepper shakes in and stuff like that. How long was you like doubtful for of like buying products? So like when it comes to like your second and your third product, was you still like doubting yourself a bit about like whether it's actually going to sell and stuff like that, or did it ease off pretty quickly?
Like test orders, was you still doing those?
Yeah, I was still always doing test orders. I was always really cautious with my sourcing because, I mean, all I had was my student loan at the time. So yeah, I was careful, but I was still spending a fair bit and seeing that those returns, and it was just from there it just kind of snowballed. The more you make, the more you spend on the stock.
As long as it keeps returning, I think it's like proof of concept, isn't it? You start small, which you did, start buying more and more stock, you get more and more used to it, and you can put more money in, and you're not so worried about spending 800 quid, then you're not so worried about spending 2 grand in a month, and then it's on and on and on from there. You just become more at home with it, I guess, really.
So are you still doing all your sourcing and like packing? You still doing all that yourself at the moment, or have you got like people packing for you and stuff like that?
I do all my sourcing myself. 'Cause it's not at the moment. It's not too time intensive. I do get people in to pack the units for me, just because my time is better spent on trying to find those products than just labelling. But it's all just about making the most of my time, really.
It does come like quite quickly that you are having so many units in because you're selling so many different products that the labelling and stuff can become quite time consuming. So a lot of people do like get their mates in and things like that from uni or whatever who love, you know, £8 an hour or whatever you want to pay them because they're, you know, got no other money, they're in uni, so it can be quite useful, really. That's how I first started with it anyway.
And I'm sure it's even if you don't have any mates who are like available at the time, I'm sure it's extremely easy to find people, to pack your stuff. You know, you just pop a little Facebook like post on Facebook in your local groups and stuff like that. I can imagine you can pick people up willy-nilly.
There's no real skill to it, is there? It's just putting stuff in bags and throwing a label on the top of it.
Skills that any human has.
Which is why it's so like painful to do it yourself, because you know it's so pointless for you to be spending your time doing that when you could be, you know, sourcing new products that will, you know, accelerate your growth even further.
I bet it's amazing though at the start, like when you first start like buying your products and you sat in your unit and you're packaging them up and you send them off and you get your first sale. I bet that is like one of the most rewarding things ever to come about it. But
how fast do you get like a notification to your app as soon as something sells?
No.
You could get emails when we first started. You get emails. They'll send you an email every single time something sells. But
I could
turn it off pretty quick.
I'd imagine it like, do you know, like have you ever seen like Shopify notification? That's how I'd imagine it. It would have been well good. But I can imagine if you're doing like 10,000 products every month, you're flying out orders.
We refresh our apps, don't we? Whenever we go to the pub and stuff, we always have a little
check the
little
sales.
comparison.
Who's buying the first round? Who's done well that day?
I remember when it was months ago now, when you were like a grand or something off 100k, and we were together in the day, we were working in the unit, and then we were going to the pub on the night, and you were something like £70 off, and this guy kept refreshing it, and it just didn't come for like an hour.
Someone buys something.
And I kept refreshing mine every like 10 minutes, mine would go up like 100 quid.
Should have gone on his Amazon store and bought something.
I can imagine it was a bit of a cool little friendly competition you had going on.
It's good. I think we've always had that, haven't we?
Us both, so I think like we kept
good
each other
friendly
motivated. Like
it still is now. It still is now. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. But so, you know, obviously you're selling your products and stuff like that. You know, what was like your products after that? Because I love hearing about like what actual random stuff people are selling.
We've
so
had
like
some random stuff.
Yeah.
If you had any funny stuff.
Yeah, go on. So give us a couple of products that like, you know.
Let me think.
stuff that you don't sell at the minute.
That's what I'm trying to think about. I mean, at the moment, it's just a lot of cosmetics, a lot of hardware, that kind of thing. I've had some mares with importing things. I've had to wait like months for stuff to get out of customs because it comes through. The stuff I was getting comes through Parcel Force, and they send you a letter. They send them anywhere and everywhere apart from your address.
Usually, who you're buying from will do like the import
like
documents and everything for you. Send that to Parcel Force, and as soon as Parcel Force get it, you just sign a few documents and it's released and brought to you. But that particular product that you were buying, they didn't do any of the documents, just gave it to Parcel Force. It come to you. You got letters coming to my storage unit in the West Mids. He's down in Oxford, so I'm just taking photos of all these letters sent to you.
No.
Then you had to post them back. It was a nightmare, wasn't it? You had to fill out so many forms, and obviously that was cash. That was like even though it was more, wasn't it?
It was like $5,000 just held up at customs
for like a month and a half.
I suppose that's a top tip for everyone then to make sure your wholesaler is doing the import doing the import forms and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely. Because obviously you can be. I imagine you're stuck. So how long did it take to actually get that product released when it was stuck there?
It was a little bit over a month, I reckon. But it was a really it was a seasonal product. As soon as I had it, I sent it in. It was like
that's a killer.
That product was a bit of a madness.
150, 200 sales a day. They were like £3 to £5 profit, depending on where everyone else was at.
Silly. You used to do like £1,000 a day out of them when they hired, didn't you?
Yeah,
silly.
That's like £1,000 a day for like 3 or 4 days.
We always
tell us what product this is.
Still selling, I'm still selling. Okay, no worries. You love to see it though. It's so sick to hear about people actually selling it and like making that much. Like the fact that it's selling like 150, 200 times a day is just so insane. Like on a monthly scale, that must be doing. And
there's multiple sellers on there as well, so it's probably doing like 400 sales a day easily.
It shows you how lucrative it is though, because like you're so secretive. Like everyone's so secretive about the product. It just shows how lucrative it is. Like it's mad.
When you find those bankers, it's like
you
don't even tell your mum about them ones.
That's heavy though, but I can imagine, to be fair. So it's just so crazy to imagine that they're actually selling that much and stuff like that. So how many? I understand if you don't want to say this, but like, how many is too many sellers on a product? I know everyone was obviously priced differently, but like, how many people is actually too many sellers in like your opinion? How much would you usually check for?
I think it completely depends
on the product.
At the end of the day, you could have 40 sellers on a product. If you can sell it profitably, along with the cheapest seller at £14, and the other 38 at like 16, and you check the price history and they never move below 16, not a problem, because you're only competing with one person. It's more of a question of how many people you're competing with. For example, it could just be Amazon on the listing, and they on some listings will match your price, so you just can't win. And there could be other sellers that just even one on there will match your price and keep going down and down and down. Depends what type of sellers they are, and again, you need to know that. You need to have that knowledge and be able to see that research through the softwares and things to work out what type of sellers they are and whether it would be risky to buy. So there's not really a question. There's not really an answer for it. It's more of a case-to-case basis.
When you say Amazon or price match, do you mean like they're getting their own stock in and...
Yeah, so Amazon sell on Amazon as well. But obviously, because they've got such a big buying power, they've billions of pounds, they get stuff like cheaper than Tesco and Asda would.
So they can just come in and fuck you.
Yeah, so only on some, I find on the lower selling listings, if you find a listing that sells like 150 times a month, you'll often see Amazon are on them. But like £5 above everyone else, and they've never been lower. It's more the really popular products that they'll just cut you down and they'll make a loss. They don't care. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the times it's like that, but that's on like the super popular stuff that everyone's heard of. Do you know what I mean?
Brings the
like
traffic onto the website.
Evian water or exactly that. They need to be selling them at cheap prices so that it does bring traffic to Amazon. And at the end of the day, you're probably never going to get trade accounts with those brands anyway. It's like Duracell batteries, things like that. Do you know what I mean? Super popular things that would do like major numbers in.
I can imagine they sell insane amounts.
Yeah, insane. Because it's something you would get off Amazon, isn't it? You're not going to, drive all the way to Asda just to pick up some batteries, and then if you can get it same day.
Yeah, literally. And it's probably cheaper than like Asda and stuff like that.
Yeah, because Amazon are buying so many. Yeah, definitely.
So I've got a cool question for you. What's like the listing that you've had like the most, like what like listing have you been like selling on that's had the most sales in a month? Like, have you been selling on a listing that's got like 10,000 sales in a month, like 20,000 sales in a month?
Us can actually give an answer.
Yeah, I can imagine, to be fair.
They are actually both in the same sort of niche, to be fair, but
yeah. Yeah, I'm on a listing at the moment that's on. It's a multi-listing, so there's different variations of it. I think it's about 15,000 sales a month ish. It's ridiculous. But Amazon are also on there, so they're undercutting a bit.
Yeah.
Still getting the.
But even
sales.
still, if Amazon are on there and they don't undercut you, sometimes they don't undercut. So by undercut, I mean you put your price to $14, they're going to go $13.99 instantly. Sometimes they'll price match. So if you put your price to $14, they'll also go $14. And if it's selling over 1,000 times a month, they'll take the majority share of the buy box, but you'll still get sales. Like you can, if it's doing 15,000 times a month, you probably, most people wouldn't even have the cash to keep stock of that. Do you know what I mean? Because 15,000 times a month, they're probably £5, £6, £7 each.
Yeah.
Is there any niches that you just never go into?
Clothes.
Clothes and shoes, that kind of thing.
Anything that sizes, because on Amazon, when it's variations, the software, it just bugs out. So it does it off like the ASIN, so it's one product listing, but then there's often multiple ones on there. And again, there's ways that we've worked out now that you can sort of see the percentage of sales overall, which are for that variation. But T-shirts, you could have 10 different colours and 5 different sizes for each colour. Like you just stay away from it. It'd be an absolute nightmare, that would. Just single product listings, some variations if you can work it out. But again, it's doing test orders, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I think I actually ran into that one time. So when I was making the Amazon Flip Finder bot, I ran into that as well at one time. So it was like an FA Cup football on Argos, and on the listing, and I obviously didn't know anything about Amazon at the time, and obviously I was still learning from you guys and stuff like that. But I remember seeing it, and I think it was selling 1,000 times a month, and it come through on my Discord, and I was like, wow, I was like, no way, this is insane. I was like, I'm gonna make bank here. And then I ended up speaking to somebody else about it who was doing Amazon as well, and he was like, oh mate, watch out, this is a variation listing, this probably selling. And it was actually so this was a 2020 FA Cup ball, and this was a few months ago, and it was definitely wouldn't have been selling the 2021. It'd been because of the 2022 one and the 2023 one were both listed on there. So
sometimes you'll have ones like that have 2 variations on. And it can be I'll often see it, there'd be a single pack of Duracell batteries, for example, then a 3-pack, then a 10-pack. But if you click on the 10-pack just from the search, it will still say the amount of sales is the same for all of them. And you'll be thinking, blimey, this is making a ton of money. But in theory, when you actually look into it, it's not. No one's actually buying that variation. Everyone's buying the single pack. And you'll often see that a 10-pack is more expensive per pack of Duracell batteries than just the single pack. You see that quite often as well, don't you?
Yeah, it makes total sense, to be fair.
In fact, I was going to say to you earlier, I got a letter from L'Oreal asking me to stop selling them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
They said that I wasn't an authorised reseller.
But did you buy it off fucking...
You were getting them from Europe and shit,
Well,
I was French pharmacies and shit.
I was just about to say as well, before we went on to that, I was going to say, Jake's been teaching people well, because I thought you had only had really one mess up, and the other guy had said
These are all ones that he doesn't ask me about.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so if you want to crack on, Jake.
What was the question I asked?
System admin, the company went into administration.
Oh yeah. So talk about when that company went into administration.
So it was these products. They were it was slug treatment. Things that you put in your garden. It, I don't know, kills them, I guess. But they were these bags, and at the time they were gold dust. You couldn't get them anywhere. So I thought I'd buy, because you can place back orders on these for these companies. I think I bought
the back orders, you basically pay for it before the brand even has it. Do you know what I mean? So you're tying up that stock before they've even got it in hand.
Yeah, and quickly, do you have to pay full price?
Okay.
Full price.
A lot of the time, no. You pay full. You literally buy it.
Product.
Yeah. But you sort of have to do it sometimes because of the way stock comes in. That's the only way you can guarantee it. Yeah.
Did they give you an estimation of when it's going to arrive, kind of thing?
Sometimes not.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always cancel the back order.
I was going to say, that's a big gamble otherwise.
But they're not usually happy with you when you do that.
No. But it eventually came around to I'd ordered them. I think it was £2,000 worth. But at the time, it was more than double money. They were I was buying them for £5, selling them for £22, and they're ridiculous.
They sold.
It was 600, 700 times a month. So I thought I'd buy 400. It said it was going to be 1 to 2 months. Eventually, I was it's not here after 2 months. I give them a call, go on their website. They're taking their number off. Can't call them. They took their email off. Can't email them. And eventually, there were some letters through because I was back home. There was some letters through that came.
I was getting letters to my unit.
Just 2 letters.
Did you just receive his mail all the time, or?
Yeah, literally. Yeah, we were sharing a unit, weren't we, at the time? Because I was helping him out. I was like, I didn't have such big products in at the time. I'd mostly sent a lot of stuff off, so I had a lot of room, and you weren't particularly ordering loads. No. So I was like, just pay quarter of my rent and just use a quarter of it, and we can just pack in my unit then. And I didn't really mind.
Yeah. But yeah, I got the letters through. The companies went into administration, so I lost like $2,000 on that.
That's such a stinker.
Yeah, but then
for a bit.
Yeah.
I paid on Amex, so managed to.
Wow, so I guess that's a good benefit of Amex, to be fair, because obviously everybody knows that Amex. If you like refund someone on Amex, you ring up Amex, mate. The 99%
there's no hold. It's not like you're in the queue. It's just like hello, straight away.
And they sort everything out. So what was the process in that situation? You know, did you just ring up Amex, say this company's gone into administration?
Didn't even ring them. I went onto my statement. And you can like dispute the statement, say what happened. I did it like in the evening. The morning after, they just credited the account. It was that easy.
It's crazy. Amex is so
it's insane.
I couldn't advise anyone does anything more than get an Amex for doing Amazon. And the points are insane.
Yeah, and this brings it onto a case, you know, like a lot of people who probably know who run business and stuff, if people dispute on Amex, it's fucking, there is like Amex, they battle that so hard, mate. They don't take any shit.
They've got so much money.
Yeah, they have. I don't even get how they do it though. They just literally fucking, I suppose
they
they're making so much money.
Bigger fees, like larger fees than like MasterCard and stuff. And that's why like small shops and things like that don't accept them, because they do take a large fee. But
you've got a recurring thing as well, like £150 a
year.
Yeah.
On certain ones. The silver ones are like £600. Yeah.
That one that hasn't got any points or anything, though, has it?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's not
they must just be making so much money off interest. Because even think about the point system and that, even if you like, you know, obviously they figure out calculations to, you know, give you points and you know what your points eventually get you, but like they give you so much stuff for free. Like obviously you were saying you've bought loads of stuff on your Amex. You've got like insane amount of Amex points. How many have you got at the moment?
Well, I've just spent them all. I went. I went to the Shard for 2 nights, and that was 500,000 points. Obviously, that's just like completely free. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, that's from buying stock and things like that. But if you can spend it on stuff like that, and they give you more value per point if you do it for travel and stuff like that, don't they?
That's an insane amount of points.
I know. You should have seen my face when that.
People that don't know, that's like 500 grand's worth of points in it.
That's insane. Absolutely insane. So you know when you're using Amex, sorry to interrupt the story, but you know when you're using Amex and stuff like that, you know, do you just like pay it off like instantly? So you buy it on the Amex and then the following month you just pay it straight off, or are you like, obviously because everyone knows the interest rates on fucking Amex is absolutely insane.
Stupid.
Yeah. Did you just pay it instantly off at the end of the month, like when the credit thing's due?
We both got direct debits. You got direct debit on there as well, haven't you? So whenever you, obviously I would still never spend what's more in the business bank account than what I can spend, you know what I mean? So it just gets paid off at the end of the month. I'd never let it run over. I mean, the APR on that, you literally like bankrupt yourself in a couple of months quite easily.
It catch up with you so fast. It's like 19, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's high. Some of them are like 67%.
Yeah, I think it's like 60%.
Some of them are crazy.
Wow.
But you just never let it run over, would you?
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Some of our bills have been stupid, haven't they? Yeah.
Mine a couple of months ago was about 40 grand, I think.
Yeah, silly. My big one was 72. That's the biggest one I've ever
had. Silly. That's heavy.
That is heavy, that.
Seeing the notification, I remember waking up, it was like summer's day and everything bright, sunshine. I just open up my work phone, it's just like, your payment for 72 grand is, guys, brilliant.
Cheers.
It looks a little higher than usual.
But if you apply your thing, you know, that's a nice like 20-30 grand profit if it's all on Amazon products and stuff like that.
Exactly. That's the way you got to think of it. Do you know what I mean? And the good thing is as well, most of that stock that, you know, that 72 grand's worth of stock is already in stock and selling at Amazon by the time I'm actually paying for it. So it's so good for your cash flow as well.
What is the actual average time frame of you selling your products?
Completely depends how much you're buying, doesn't it? Because you could buy 3 months worth of stock, you could buy a week's worth of stock. It completely depends how much, you know, a listing is selling, and then from there it then takes 2 weeks from when you've sold a product for you to be able to get the cash back out as well. So completely depends. I'd say about a month and a half, something like that. But
That's
then obviously if you're using an Amex, then it's actually, you're just getting the money out as you pay it, or you've got 2 weeks.
Just after,
yeah.
Just got to cash
so
flow.
do you usually would you usually aim for like a month's worth of stock really, or like does it really depend for you?
Sometimes we do more. It depends. Like those high demand products, we buy them while we can. So maybe like 2-3 months.
If it's something that we're really confident on and have been selling for a while, and you know that there's never been any other sellers on there, and you've never had any issues, and you can buy 3 months worth, and you get each unit 50p cheaper. You know, if you're buying 2,000 units, then it's a grand more profit in your pocket. So it completely depends, but sometimes you literally just buy like a couple of days worth in some situations. It just really depends.
So how many products are you selling at the moment, Harry?
Close to 50, I think.
Okay.
Hopefully by the end of this month, I've got loads of orders coming in. Hopefully going to be
always
60.
Fluctuating really, isn't it, with like stock levels and things like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes some products go out of stock, you can't get them for a week or so.
Sometimes they're not profitable, and you just
you got to drop
move
a
on,
product.
find
And
another
you're
one.
constantly adding more as well, so it's
Would you say you drop a product every month?
Maybe even more. Easily. It's just sometimes it's just not, like you go onto bigger and better products, it's not worth putting that grand into something when you can spend a little bit more on something else. And
that's why you're just constantly sourcing, isn't it? You're always looking for more products, so you're always adding more to your portfolio each month. So even if you lose 2 products that aren't really making as much money anymore, the ROI has gone down, you put in a lot of money and not really to get anything out, it doesn't matter, just get rid of it, push that money into the next thing.
How are you keeping track of all this? Are you using like a Google Sheet or software?
Software just pulls every single order out, and you can see everything on there.
Is that from Amazon, or is that something elsewhere?
External. Why they don't have their own software? I can
imagine that'd be massive. Them just tracking everyone's drop in and
they must have terabytes, like gigabytes of data, like insane amounts of customer spending data and stuff like that.
I'd like to know actually how many products are actually being actively sold on Amazon at the moment.
I'd love to know. Should I give it a Google?
Yeah, it's probably worth a Google. Surely it's got to be like north of like 10-20 million products. Like
different variations as well. There's got to be more than that.
That's what I mean.
There's got to be so many. Like, think about everything in this room is sold on Amazon, 100%.
Yeah. Amazon itself sells more than 12 million products. If you expand this to Amazon Marketplace sellers, 350 million products.
Wow.
So that's a good stat, really. So Amazon themselves are only selling 12 million products. This is UK as well, and Amazon Marketplace, so Amazon and I'll tell you, 12.
It's got to be like 3% around.
Yeah, it's less than 10.
Even less.
3.5%. Yeah. So only 3.5% of the products on Amazon are actually sold by Amazon, and the rest are like third-party sellers like ourselves.
That's insane, and
that's going down. That percentage is going down as more sellers come in there, and people always say like, is it saturated? Is it getting saturated? No, things like that. 350 million products. Like,
that's insane.
Think about that's each person in the UK having 5 of their own products.
Yeah.
I wonder how many sellers there actually are. Like, who are actively selling. That's probably another great stat.
If you probably think about like if you ask everyone in this room, just like, if you've bought off Amazon, it's like, I've bought like X amount of stuff. Then you ask like 200 people in town, have you ever sold on Amazon? You guarantee that most would say no.
Yeah, literally. And like you said, like, you're even if you've got a good product that's selling good, but you find a better product, you're gonna drop your product that's still selling all the time to just go on to new products. It's like a constant rotation of like products all the time and stuff like that. Do you find yourself mostly doing that, or do you find that like most of your products actually die out, like in terms of they stop selling or the sales slow down? Well, I suppose that'd be a reason why you actually stop selling.
Yeah. Completely depends. Like I said on the pod that we did with myself, some products I've had since I've started that I've been selling for a year and a half, nearly 2 years. Some products you'll only do one order of, and the price will reduce. You can't get them anymore. And I did Google this as well. There's 280,000 sellers in the UK. Yeah.
Wow,
280,000 sellers. But if you think that there's 350 million. Products on there, that shows how much there is to go around. Do you know what I mean?
Insane, absolutely insane. That's a fraction.
I know.
That's like an actual fraction. Like, that's like that's an insane amount. I don't even know how much that is. It's got to be like 150 products per seller.
It's like 0.25%.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Have you ever like teamed up and like used more spending power to get a product cheaper?
Yeah.
Yes.
It usually ends in arguments though, doesn't
Does
it?
it?
So that's my product.
Yeah. We have a
That's
thing
right.
now that we call first in stock.
Yeah.
So it's like, because sometimes we'll come across the same things, because sometimes we're like doing the same sort of thing, we got the same sort of connect. So we tell each other like what we're looking at, and sometimes you'll come to me with a deal and say like, oh, I've got this, I'm about to buy it, and I'll be like, I had that written down last week on my sheet, mate, that's mine. And then we're like, well, first in stock, we both bang place the order. Then whoever has it in stock first, we say like, you know,
That's your product.
yeah.
Yeah, so what would you do in that case? Do you kind of like sell it a little bit of a higher price until like one of you sold out and stuff like that?
We've never really both our accounts sold on the same listing. We've shared a lot of things before, haven't we? Just to mitigate risk, really, and just reduce overall risk. I'd rather have two products and we split both of them than me take all the risk on one and you take all the risk on the other. It
Makes sense.
just reduces risk overall. And I did that a lot when you were first starting out as well, isn't it? Just to reduce your risk and allow you to have more products and be more diversified, I guess. But
That's quality, that.
Yeah, you don't want all your eggs in one basket, I can
No,
imagine.
literally.
no, exactly. Some of the stuff we've shared though has done really, really well, and some of it we've just like stopped selling. And this is a story that we'll tell. So, who come up with the idea for the eye drops? Is that me or you?
I think it was the same. We were both looking at the same store, and I was like, "Hey, Jake, have a look at this." It was from France.
We can talk about them, can't we?
Yeah.
Well, we already have now. They were basically like baby eye drops, weren't they? From it was from like a French company.
Yeah.
But we tried to find them in the UK, and you just could not get them in the UK, or they were like really expensive.
Yeah.
But they were selling really, really well on Amazon. So we were hunting for ages for like a good week to find like some random French pharmacist in the middle of the countryside who would order from the actual manufacturer, bring it to them, and then bring it over to us. Took ages. So I was doing most of the emailing, wasn't I? But it was because they were like just French pharmacists. It was all in French. French. So I was just jumping on Google Translate for every single email, typing it out using my email template, swapping it to French, emailing it to them. But it was like, when you converted back what they were saying, it was like such broken English. And we were asking like critical questions like, how many units are on a pallet? And they'd be like 1.5, and we'd be like, well, they're not, because the box is like this big. And it was like 1,500. Yeah. So it took so long. We never realised it would take that long.
It took like a month.
It was more because we sent the money to them, and then it took like another 3 weeks for the stock to get to them in France. Then we had to organise like a European pallet shipment agency to go over there, pick these 2 pallets up and bring them to us, which is another outlay, which we did account for, to be fair. And then we sold them. We did make good money off them, to be fair, but at the time you weren't VAT registered, were you? So you didn't really understand how my VAT spreadsheets work, because it gets a little bit more complicated. So me being me and doing my own thing, didn't really check in on the numbers that you put in there. And I remember once we paid for them, so they were on their way, they were probably in the Channel Tunnel at this point, they're on their way from France to the UK. And I just had a little bit of a deeper look at the spreadsheet. Now I knew that they were coming, we were checking the prices and things, and I looked and I was like, you either had added the VAT or you hadn't added the VAT, something like that. And it basically like wiped pretty much a lot of the profit out of it. And I was like, how did you not see that? It was such a nightmare.
That's a killer.
But then the thing is, we still did make some money on them, and you just clear them out and we got our money back. Do you know what I mean?
We got them out quick,
Yeah, this sounds like an FBA like horror story podcast, but the thing is, we can't really speak about the products that you're selling now that you're making good money out of, because other people will just go out and,
well, I've actually got a screenshot
nib
of
the
your
product.
last month's figures from Amazon.
From Harry, not you.
Not mine. Well, you never know. So you did £89,882 in sales last month, with an advertising cost of £450.
But it was just...
They're a special supplementary ad strategy, isn't it?
You don't even notice them.
You don't need ads on there.
Can I say your profit and your orders?
Yeah.
So with your 89,000, you made a profit of 19,000 over 6,306 orders.
In a month.
It was
Congrats, lad.
Yeah, that's sick. I'd love to see it. So you're doing this full time now. Like how much time are you actually invested into doing this at the moment?
I pretty much all my time that I can be bothered to do, really.
Yeah.
It's like, so I moved back, and as soon as I moved back, finished uni, it was just like full steam ahead. I was just working as hard as I can, putting everything I've got into it. I've got a unit down here. I've got a bit of an office as well. But no, it's pretty much full-time sourcing. I get people to pack it and whatever.
To be fair, it's mostly just the sourcing, really, isn't it, that takes the time. If you can bring other people in who do the packing, then it's literally just reordering and sourcing. And it's not like you have to do it between 9 till 5, Monday to Friday. Quite often, look at your Insta story and you're at some restaurant on a Tuesday afternoon with your missus. Do you know what I mean? It can be quite easy.
So what is actually like a week like in an FBA person?
Depends what week it is.
Yeah. I mean, last week was quiet. I barely did anything just because I knew. I mean, I'd outlaid a lot of money. I knew stuff was on the way, and I knew I had loads in stock at Amazon. So I decided, I really don't need to do that much this week. But I know. I mean, as soon as when that
arrives, you're in for a grand.
Yeah, I'm getting back and I'm sorting all that out because it's just going to be unit's going to be full.
I was in Spain last week, all week long, and literally didn't touch my laptop at all. And you just have sales rolling in because you've sent that stock in already. You go on and change prices every now and again, make sure that things are priced right, and you've still got the buy box. But you can go on holidays and stuff like that, really, can't you? But if you can work, then it's better.
It does sound very good because this is one thing that's massively different to like reselling. Obviously with reselling, ideally you want to be like, even though you only have to be able for like 2 to 5 minutes at a time when a drop happens and stuff like that, with Amazon, it seems like, it's way more consistent, way more like regulated and stuff like that. And it's like, if you buy, like you said, you can do like 1 week's work and then you send all your stuff off, you wait for it to arrive and whatnot. And then you can just like chill out for a bit. Where with reselling, you ideally want to be around all the time to like, to pick up the things.
Just to have that little page run and
literally, even if stuff doesn't happen in the day, obviously you want to be around to sort things out and stuff like that. But
no, don't get me wrong, it's still a lot of work. It sounds like with Dawson, we're not like when we're working in a week, like we probably do a lot more hours than you would in a normal 9 to 5. But I suppose at the start, we're working ridiculous hours at the very start, but you grow it to a level where, you do have 40, 50, 60 products that are consistently selling. And then, that you've got that income coming in. You don't have to work as much unless you want to grow it. But at the end of the day, the more time you put in, the more you're going to get out of it. And you can scale it to whatever level you like. Like at uni, you were doing this at uni. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're making a good money.
It was like
when you were at uni.
£5,000 a month. Like, I mean,
profit. Yeah, £5,000 a month profit as a uni student. And
mate, you are living it up.
This was third year. Yeah. So like you were doing dissertation and everything, weren't you?
It was stress, but I mean, I knew it would all be worth it. Like as soon as I left, and at the moment it is. So
what was it like making £5,000 at uni a month? Was you just out every night or what?
I mean, I was out way too much.
Do you have a missus?
Yeah, I was always going out with her, like fancy meals and all that.
We still do, to be fair. Not so much now you moved away, but we'd always go like, we'd be packing our stuff in the day, and I'd be like, just go pub on the night, come with all the boys, and we'd end up just in the pub, just like racking a bill up like on a Tuesday night, do you know what I mean? But we did do the work in the day. We used to get there like 6 a.m. at the unit, and we'd work hard, do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean, like, everything in moderation is totally fine. It's just when it obviously becomes like not moderation and stuff like that, and you stop working. But as long as you've got that work ethic and you like what you're doing, just both do you enjoy doing Amazon and stuff like that?
We used to have a right laugh working in that unit, didn't we? Yeah. We'd always have a laugh. It's enjoyable. It's like you said, obviously after a while it does wear off, but at the start when you first get your storage unit, I remember like getting all my like scissors, sellotape, knives and things like that, building some
like
shelves.
First day of school.
Yeah, it's fantastic, do you know what I mean? And it's the best thing is getting new products in, even though like you're never going to use it, and half the time we don't even know what they do. It's still like interesting to see and open up the palette and then start and then send it off, because that each one you do, I always work it out. We do we work out how much each one's making, work out how many you can pack in an hour, and then work out how much you're literally making every hour by packaging them up.
I bet that's a funny one.
Yeah. Well, when you're stuck in a room just putting like 2,000 units in bags all day, you have some sort of entertainment. Don't you?
That's heavy.
Just shouting every time, £5.
Yeah, literally, that's what we do.
That's insane.
Yeah,
but well, I think we should, one thing I actually do want to talk about as well is, and obviously Jake was the first person to actually tell me about this, and it's about like when a country becomes full prime and stuff like that. So obviously, we was on a meet. Well, Jake was actually on about, and he was talking about you, and he was saying, when a country swaps over from being prime and full prime, there's a massive boom in Amazon sales because, at the end of the day, the thing that drives Amazon the most is the convenience and the Amazon culture. People just want to buy stuff. They want it to come next day, same day. They want that absolute ease of use. They just want to be able to slide to buy and, it's that easy. As you may or may not know, Amazon FBA is still one of the biggest side hustles in the UK. It's also a system that isn't affected by recessions and is a substantially growing market every single year. That's why myself and the team behind the massively popular Crep Chief Notify have teamed up with a leading FBA mentor who has run multiple successful FBA stores and turns over £1 million plus revenue every single year. He's now, with the help of us, helping people build side hustles that are later going to grow into full-time, job-leaving, cash-churning businesses. As we put together the final pieces of our education platform, we would like to invite you, as someone who has shown interest in making money online, to sign up to our free Discord community. Whilst you'll get access to our community, you'll still need to purchase a membership to gain full access and take full advantage of our FBA educational system. What's the difference in a country that's not full prime and why it's beneficial and stuff like that?
So I mean, the UK is full prime. It's
been full prime for years now, I guess, hasn't it? Yeah.
It's loads of fulfillment centres all around the country. We've got 1 day shipping. Everyone uses that.
So full prime is 1 day shipping. That's it.
Well, full prime, we just mean there's prime in general. So you can get next day shipping or same day shipping. Yeah. But obviously that's more because the UK compared to other countries, which we'll get onto, as such, much more densely populated.
Yeah.
You only need these few fulfillment centres to cover the whole of the country. Do you know what I mean?
But eventually, I'm doing this in the UK, but I'm wanting to start in Australia as well. Because at the moment they do have Prime, but it's only 2 day shipping, and not many people actually.
Yeah. 2 day shipping is just
it's the same as Royal Mail. You wouldn't
10 years old that.
It's because Australia is so big, but it's so sparsely populated. They're building fulfillment centres everywhere there, aren't they? So much money into it to get it to the level where you can order something anywhere in Australia and be same day or next day prime, which is what they want. Because you said when you've been over there before, it's just it takes you 20-30 minutes to get to the shops, just to buy anything if you're in a rural area. Most of it's quite rural unless you're living by the sea.
And it needs that investment really for Amazon to take off. But I mean, in the UK, we've got 200,000 sellers, but in Australia, I want to get in early before everyone else kind of jumps on that. Because and the margins at the moment, they still have mail fulfilled over there, so just put it in Australia Post. Takes
it's
a week to
FBM, fulfilled by merchants.
Yeah.
Most people do that.
But as soon as FBA 1 day shipping comes out, the margins,
everything's gonna fly
competition.
It will kick off because no one will know how to do it there either.
No.
Unless you're doing FBA, no one's done FBA before. They'll have no clue.
Yeah. So can you sell FBA at the minute, or is it only FBM?
You can sell FBA there, but it's just the 2 day shipping. It's not good enough for people.
It's not as convenient.
When I've been there, people have just been saying why would I order from Amazon? It takes too long.
You just go to the shop, wouldn't you? I guess.
It'd put me off for sure if I'm ordering something offline and it's 2 day shipping. I just wouldn't order it. It genuinely put me off.
Not everything there's even 2 days. Some of the stuff on Amazon takes up to a week. So it is easier just to drive to a shop, even if it takes that long to get there. It's just easier, isn't it? So.
But I can imagine that's going to be a major thing. And obviously, Jake was telling me when it happened in England, it was a game-changing moment, and people make it absolutely
when
bang.
Amazon come around in England, it was incredible years ago. People, obviously, the margins were crazy. There wasn't as many sellers on there. Obviously, new products coming on there all day long that people would have to go to specialist stores for or find on the 5th page of Google. Whereas on Amazon, it's so easy, so searchable, and there's so much traffic coming to it because it's new. It was crazy.
And you can imagine the SEO on Amazon is absolutely insane.
He knows what you want. He knows what you search for before you even search it. Probably
He
knows you better than you.
Yeah.
Insane. So I imagine that's going to be a massive opportunity. So what's your plans when that comes around? Have they give a set date of when it's going to happen, or will you reckon they'll just drop it randomly? Just it's available now.
I think it's been the past few years that they've been investing millions and millions.
And the rest.
And the rest, yeah. But like, kind of, I'm gonna start doing my research on products before I even go over there, because like when the software lets you do that, I'll find what products are selling really well. I won't even need to be there. I can order them there. My dad lives over there, and he's happy for
very ideal.
Happy for me to run, because he wants to run
operations manager.
He's gonna be operations, so he'll have it, he'll label it and send it off, and I won't even. My money's going over, but I don't need to be there.
But I imagine that'd be an insane opportunity. And me and Jay was just speaking before, like, I think how many like unique products will be in Australia, because it's such a different place to like here. Obviously, it's very like, you know, it is very like built up and stuff like that, but you can imagine they've got like crazy products, especially with all like the wildlife and stuff like that. I was thinking about like the garden stuff over there, things for like that, you know, because you obviously get like massive flies, you know, spiders and whatnot.
How many like different repellents and things
literally repellents and shit
stuff, because of the weather. Like each country has a completely different market, really. I suppose Europe's all generally the same, but you may get like a German product or something like that that is not popular in any marketplace, but does 2,000 sales a month in Germany. Do you know what I mean?
Even tourists going over, like literally like repellents and whatever, they're just going to order off Amazon straight to the hotel one day.
Even products like that, for example, if you're born and brought up in Germany, for example, and there's this product that is just really popular in Germany, you may still get like 500 sales a month in the UK with people who are, you know, have moved to the UK but still want to use that product. So there's the, you know, that's why it's useful to you know, keep an eye on all marketplaces, I guess, and know what's going on in the world. But at the end of the day, like we said earlier, UK is a huge marketplace, you know.
It's just so dense. That's the thing about it. It's extremely dense. And you know, obviously the UK is very like built up and stuff like that. So you imagine the amount of people, like Amazon in the UK is like unbelievably popular. Like it's been popular for years, though. Literally years and years and years. I remember ordering off Amazon with my mum and stuff. Like literally when I was like 15, you know, 14, like when I was so young, and it's like it's just been popping for ages.
But like I said in my pod, like it's only ever going to get more popular. Because I guess most, you know, like 70 to 90-year-olds probably have never ordered on Amazon. So give it 20 years, you know, when we're going to have, you know, 20 years of new people who are all above 18 then, who are of course going to be using Amazon. It's just going to go up even more. The sales are going to go up even more. It's going to become a more generalized thing, as everyone who's alive has used Amazon and then therefore will continue to use it. Do you know what I mean? Because
100%.
It can be quite techie. Like my nan probably couldn't order something on Amazon, but you know, if someone just turning 18 now would be able to. Oh yeah, they probably could, to be fair. Yeah, she probably end up ordering 10 of them then.
Yeah, they don't really use computers and stuff like that, innit? Like older people, especially not like they just don't do it. And like you said, you know, as people, obviously, you know, as the generation shift and stuff like that, it's like obviously like people who are growing up 18 now, you know, who are getting in, like, you know, who are becoming adults, obviously they're just going to be using Amazon because everybody's like so techy these days. I would like to know like the amount of people who like people who are turning 18 today, how many people don't have a smartphone or shop online? It's probably like fractional percentage.
Why would you go to the shop?
No, why would you? Like, obviously, it's just like, oh, so order it comes next day. It's just such a no-brainer for everyone, and like, especially with Amazon Prime, like obviously Prime Video and stuff like that. You know,
there's so many extras on Amazon now. It's not 100%. Just Prime, and that brings more people to the Amazon website. Do you know what I mean? It's like that Morrison's deal that I told you about the other week. It's like Morrison's are now like done a partnership with Amazon. We both saw this, didn't we? So you can go on Amazon and then do your Morrison shopping order, and then it gets delivered. I don't know whether it's delivered through Amazon. Oh, it's same day. It must have some sort of like logistics deal or something with it. But again, that just brings more people. And then if something on Morrison's is out of stock, you just go on normal Amazon and get it because you're already on the website. So it's just more
it may
and
as
more
well
and
be
more
online though. It's just everything's just so easy.
Exactly. All
like
in one
everyone's sat
spot.
behind a screen. Like if you're at a job, you sat behind a computer screen. You go off your computer screen to go back on your mobile phone.
Exactly.
Like
It's
you're
like a
literally
hub
staring at a
version,
screen 24/7.
Yeah.
And I remember like when I was young, like there used to be a mad thing like your eyes will go square if you like look at, and it was like such a mad thing. Like everybody thought like you could be like really bad if you look at a screen. Now if you just look at the world, like everything is a screen. Advertisement boards, screen. Everything is a screen.
In your car, literally, everything.
Literally, mate, it's absolutely insane. And it's only just gonna get like, we're only just gonna like, the way I see it, we're only gonna get deeper in this like cycle. And whether people think it's a bad cycle and stuff like that, you know, there's obviously a lot of talk about social media and stuff like that. But you know, it's like things like, you know, AR glasses and stuff like that come about. Everyone's just gonna become so much more connected and stuff like that. And like, it'll probably come to the point where you're like, you'll just set up like a reminder order. Obviously, you can do that on Amazon anyway. Like things will just get automatically ordered for you. Like
you can subscribe to stuff now, can you?
Yeah, you can subscribe, but if you seen the like Prime buttons as well,
and you just program it to whatever you want.
So like people have them like next to their toilet, and then they use the last toilet roll and literally just
bang it,
go click it like
it's
that,
like a little button,
and it gets ordered next day, be at your house.
What? But it's
like a little button,
like an AirTag type thing.
Yeah.
And you stick it on the wall. So let's just say you program that one to whatever product you want.
Yeah.
So let's just say it's toilet paper. You put it next to your toilet, no toilet roll, use last toilet roll, just bang it and it'll order it instantly.
Put one next to your kettle and click it when you run out of tea bags or your
coffee.
Mate.
But it makes so much sense, doesn't it? Just like mad easy use.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
It's like the stuff that you're obviously ordering all the time. Like
they should do it so like you have a big cupboard and buttons in front of every single product. Then when you
but that's how
never
it'll be.
actually just do like one shot. It'd be absolutely terrible for the
It probably-
environment.
what you
You'd
turn
be
into
getting
a
like 10 vans at your house every day, one with toilet roll, one with cinnamon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It'd
But
be sick if you could just like scan your products on your phone. Like you just pulled out your camera and like,
that's what I was
you
gonna
just took
say.
a picture of like
It'll
your
probably
coffee and it
scan
just
it.
automatically ordered it on Amazon for you. Like,
well,
how
you
easy
can
the
scan
order.
barcodes on the
Yeah,
app and
yeah,
it just
yeah,
comes
yeah.
up and you just click.
Yeah.
So it's still 2 clicks to be fair. Click the barcode scanner, scan it, product comes up, click this product, and then just click buy now. So those 3 clicks, it's like
It's insane.
crazy.
It's such an insane website and like the culture it's made and stuff like that. It's like when I come to like a proper website now and I have to really type out all my address details. I'm like,
Yeah, it's so long. Do you know what I
Isn't
mean?
it? It's
Let me just
so
click
long.
one button and it'd be there
wants to do
today.
no one wants to do that. But you know, it's just a token to like how like not lazy, but people are just striving for convenience all the time. Like people just want more convenient stuff.
People need more time, don't they? People want to be doing other stuff and don't want to. Like, I will never, go to a supermarket and do a shop because I can literally put everything that I want in on Tesco website or Morrison's through Amazon.
Yeah.
And then if I want the same thing next week, it's just 2 clicks and then, it's there the next day. It's like,
literally.
why would you waste an hour, half an hour going to shop, half an hour back, an hour in there, dealing with all the idiots in there as well. It's just
literally.
easier not to, isn't it?
It's convenience, isn't it? If you've done it once before, you may as well, and then everyone has got to jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah. More time for sourcing as well.
You love to see it. But I think like a good little thing to end on would be like, do you want to talk about some like products that you've had like insane like wins with and stuff like that? I know we was briefly speaking about that before.
I mentioned about the seasonal product. It was just a little cream, made like a grand like for 4 days straight.
Per day, that was.
Per day, yeah.
Stupid.
Insane.
How much was that per day?
It was like a grand profit a day for like 4 days. I'll word this carefully because I'm still selling them. Just like a as well, a collection. Of, they were just like 300-400 quid a day extra. I'm still
and that's
still
been
selling
like
them.
it for a while, like every day.
No one. I think there's probably like 1 or 2 other sellers on there. No competition really. The price is like it's extortionate, but people still buy them. It's just because you can buy them you can buy them the things separately. For cheaper, but
group them all together, what no one else is doing. Then that's where you're making the money. But
just join them together, and people are happy to pay that little bit more because they don't have to go out and buy each one individually.
Don't you think if you know what you're doing, then you can go out and source the products quite easily like that? It really isn't that hard to make like ridiculous money. Like you did 19k last month. Like you keep that up every single month. It's like $250,000 a year. Like that's stupid
profit.
Is insane.
Stupid profit. $250,000 in a year. Like it's insane. So and all you've done is literally just learn from like YouTube and stuff, and mostly just advice I've given you and me vetting your products and things like that. Yeah, you've put the work in and you've got good products, but again, it's not like there's no luck involved there. You've completely put the work in and continued with it, took risks, took little losses here and there, I'm sure as well, but overall you've done really well from it, so it's kind of crazy.
Absolutely insane. But that's what I love about it, and that's what's like so amazing about it. It's like, if you're committed, and then there'll be so many people watching this, listening to this, who are committed, who are decided on making a lot of money. They want to do it, and they're willing to put the time in and the effort in, and they're just committed to doing it. And if you're that type of person who's committed to doing it, at the end of the day, it's like just do it. Like literally, just start doing it, because like one thing that I like firmly believe is like if you want to do something and you are committed, like you're just gonna put your hands up and say, there is no way I'm not possibly doing this. I'm gonna like go till the end and I'm gonna make it work. Chances are within less than a year you're gonna make it work. A year is a long time of like effort. Like you just gotta like people have just got to be committed. And, you know, for the people out there who, you know, are kind of on the wall, my advice would be, you know, it'd be like, just do it. Like, well, once you actually make your first win and like you start selling your first products and you've proven to yourself you've done it, you know, it's just about like your willpower to actually do it in the first place. And once you've got like self-confidence and stuff, you know, you're unstoppable at that point. Obviously, you're going to go through hard times and stuff like that. It's just a given. Everybody goes through that. Every business goes through that, especially when you start hitting that 2-year mark. That's when it really starts to all fall apart on you. But like, you just got to keep going and keep doing it. And for like everybody listening, if you want to start doing Amazon, you know, just do it. Just literally just get stuck in and like, now is the perfect time.
Yeah, so the other thing is, like you said, you don't even have to be full-time at it either. Yeah, if you're not full-time, you might not be able to do like 19 grand a month from it, but those are still ridiculous numbers. Like that's what some people earn in a year. Like that's crazy amounts of money. You don't have to hammer it that hard. You can do it part-time. You can do it after your 9 till 5 and just start off slow and just build it up. You know, I've seen people build up from doing it after work, and then, you know, they only work 4 days a week and they spend all Friday sourcing, then they only work 3 days a week and build up until they're comfortable making a good amount of wage, they've got a good amount of money behind them, and they can go full time. Do you know what I mean? I suppose like you did in theory with uni, it was you started at a good time because you were still doing your degree, but on the side you were still doing Amazon at the same time, so it worked really well for you and sort of reduced the risk overall. So it's definitely something that you can get into, and it's so scalable without having to, you know, drop a ton of money on it and, you know, drop your job. You can still just do as many hours as you like. As I said earlier, the more time you put in, the more you'll get out of it.
And that's what's just so amazing about it, realistically. And if you compare this to reselling and stuff like that, you know, the sad thing about reselling, not a sad thing, but it's obviously, reselling is incredibly easy to get into. And, you know, and it's a great starting point for anybody's side. So, like, you know, most of you both said you sold Yeezys before you started doing Amazon. So for people who have, like, done nothing before, I recommend doing that first. But, you know, for the people who, you know, who are reselling and they want more, because everybody naturally wants more, and especially when you cap it out and, you know, you're making like £1,000 a month and you're struggling to get more out of it, you know, Amazon is the perfect thing for you, because at the end of the day, you can start it up, you can be making, you know, 1-2 grand a month after like a couple of months and stuff like that, but then you can go as high as you want. Like you're saying, after 1 year, you're doing 19k month revenue, like profit month, sorry, you know, that's insane. And people, and I know pretty much everybody, you know, who is a reseller and stuff like that, they're all entrepreneurial, they all want to do things like this. So it's just like, take action. And from what I've heard and, you know, what I know about Amazon, it's so well worth getting involved with. And obviously us here, we are setting up our own Amazon thing to teach people and stuff like that. And the waitlist will be down below if you want to sign up to that. It's going to be launching very soon. And everything we've talked about today is Amazon wholesale. There are 2 different sections to it. You know, you got the retail and the online arbitrage stuff, which is a bit more like reselling, you know, quite a low ceiling. But everything we've been talking about today is Amazon wholesale. And the ceiling for this is just astronomical.
There is no ceiling. Yeah.
If you can hit 350 million products, then you've hit the ceiling.
Yeah, absolutely bonkers. So I think that concludes, you know, today's podcast. Yeah. Thank you, Harry, for joining us, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, I will see everyone very soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.